Malacanang clarified that President Duterte was just basically reiterating national sovereignty when he threatened to pull the country out of the UN. Abella stressed that the Philippines, as a sovereign nation, cannot be meddled with. More details from Rocky Ignacio.
There's no indication that the Philippines is set to withdraw its membership in the United Nations. Presidential spokesperson Ernesto Abella said this following the statement of President Rodrigo Duterte of possible decoupling with the international institution. This was after the UN Special Rapporteur expressed concern on the alleged extrajudicial killings in the country. Abella said the president wants to emphasize the national sovereignty and does not welcome intervention on internal matters.
I said basically it was not a statement of, it was a way of stating. It was a way of stating that the nation is sovereign. Okay. It was not a statement of fact that we are leaving.
The palace official added that the president asked for proper representation on the UN concern.
The United Nations, being a public institution, should have made formal representations because we also are a formal institution. It's not the statement that he was referring to. It was the fact that they were making statements out. They were just simply making statements without having made formal representations with the nation, with the president himself.
Abella reiterated that there is an ongoing investigation on the incidents of killings in the country.
Simply because we are able to handle our own investigations. And he, in fact, if you notice his statement, if you took it in particular, he was referring to the fact that the United Nations seemed to be singling out the Philippines in particular, and he was actually referring, how come you don't make human rights statements about, for example, U.S. actions against blacks. So in other words, he felt he was basically just reiterating the fact that these things are within our ambit. Within the ambit of national sovereignty, national concerns.
Malacanang said that the Duterte administration is recognizing the support of the international community through the UN after the onslaught of Super Typhoon Yolanda in 2014.
Excuse me, those things are two entirely different concerns. He was not disclaiming the aid. He was simply disclaiming he was taking umbrage at the fact that the United Nations, through their representatives, were making public statements without having made formal representations.
For PTV News, Rocky Ignacio.